This is the Situation Room on Spice FM and KTN Home and Facebook and YouTube with you this morning and every morning, Monday to Friday. It's Eric Latif, Ndu Oko, and CT Muga.
So, you know, as everything was increasing and increasing and increasing, taxes have gone through the roof.
Yes.
You have been told to tighten your belt, and we said there's no belt left.
Yes.
And there's another levy after the UHC was launched on Friday. You know, everything was going up. So some good news was delivered by the president over the weekend. One thing finally is going down. And when I say down, as in not going down like happening, but
going down.
not that going down, but going down
going
like reducing. El Nino. You thought it was going to come heavy rain, heavy rain, heavy rain.
Meaty in the farm. It's going down.
The president said that Kenya will not experience El Nino as it was predicted by scientists in the country. Scientists being the Kenya Meteorological Department.
Okay.
Now, he said instead, what will happen in place of El Nino heavy rains, there will be October, November, December season, which is normal. City knows these seasons like the back of his hand. And the short rains will not necessarily cause devastating impacts to farmers.
Are you serious?
Yes, please.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, remember in August is when they told us, hey, you guys, it's going to rain heavily from September to December.
Prepare yourself.
In fact, there were maps. There were red zones, green zones, blue zones, orange zones. And we were told in this part of the country, the rain will look like this. And here it will look like this. In fact, we are anticipating heavy rainfall over, those things that they normally tell us. And the people who live in the lowlands now were encouraged to do what? Move to higher ground, things like that. Counties started doing things, or so we are told, to now prepare themselves for this heavy rain that was going to come. We were also told that it would not be storms, but what would happen is that there would be a gradual, however, conditioned, rain in terms of inches it was going to come.
Right.
Chances of flooding was actually quite high.
Right.
So people were ready, were they not? Nairobi
Right.
City County, they did what? They bought wheelbarrow and shovels. They hired people to start digging things, boats,
3,400 of them.
Yes. EACC even now arranged themselves and said, you guys, this money that is going to then come for
El Nino.
El Nino, I'm watching you. County governments, you people should be very careful.
EACC set up a desk called El Nino Watching Desk.
Thank you very much. El Nino watchdog at the EACC and said, we are ready for you guys. All of these things happened. We even called county here and said, tell us what you're doing, preparing for El Nino. We even called Red Cross to tell us, Red Cross ready, everybody ready.
They have been going across the country teaching people, this is water. In small quantities, water good.
Yes.
In large quantities, water bad.
Can be bad. So be ready. We even had health people coming to tell us, avoid pools of water because it is likely to happen with El Nino. Everybody, menene was ready. Then in one full swoop,
Ruto says,
president said,
see God. See God.
yay.
That's what he said yesterday. You recently heard that our country is going to experience El Nino. But who is God? Have you heard those people say that we will not have El Nino, but there will be just small rains? Even with that heavy rainfall that we'll get, we have prepared our farmers to produce enough yields. Okay? See God.
It seems to be accepted in this country that El Nino means heavy rains. It doesn't. No. What it actually means, in a nutshell, is disrupted normal weather patterns. Unusual, irregular. The excessive rain is just part of it.
Yes.
Warm winds when they shouldn't be warm. Okay? Unseasonal rain. You know that weather patterns, it's supposed to be short rain, it rains like a nonsense. And you're thinking, there's nothing short about this rain. Okay? Now, when all these things occur, and not necessarily all at the same time.
Yes.
Like, we've had very warm nights, warm to the point where you're sweating at night, and this is Nairobi, it's not Mombasa. And then the following day, it gets very cold. Then it's overcast. Then the following day, the sun shines as though someone sent it. It's hot, and you can't actually believe the temperatures. In some countries, it's so hot that tarmac melt. I mean, you find the asphalt melting.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, then there are winds. Strange winds. You know, for instance, I don't know these weather patterns, but from what I read, the easterly winds, the westerly winds, and the people who read them and tell you, this season they'll get westerly winds. With El Nino, easterly winds become westerly winds all of a sudden. It's supposed to be cold winds, it's warm winds. In a nutshell, different regions of the world will experience some of these things, all of these things, or none of these things, or a bit of these things. That is El Nino. But the normal weather patterns have been disrupted.
Okay. What's your point?
My point is this. The president is speaking as though El Nino means heavy rains. Okay? Everyone who talks about El Nino seems to imply it's heavy rains. Why? Because in the past, El Nino has been characterized in this country by very, very excessive rains.
Right.
Okay.
And I'm saying, even if you do not have heavy rains, it doesn't mean El Nino has not been here. 1. 2, it doesn't mean we are out of the woods yet.
Now, even if the wind becomes easterly, westerly, southerly, and the sun becomes very hot, right? Are we going to have our roads demolished?
No.
Our roads?
Are we going to have our homes swept away by floods?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Unless it rains
Met
heavily, no.
Department,
Met Department.
in their caution to the public, said excessively heavy rains due to El Nino.
Hero.
Okay?
That's what they said.
That's what they said.
And
Now they have sent a report to the president and said, rain, not really. It's just going to rain, kawaida. All right? And that's where now we are. So El Nino was to come. El Nino is not coming.
El Nino came. It just didn't come with heavy rain.
Okay. El Nino of heavy rains was to come. Yes. El Nino of heavy rains is not coming.
Yes.
El Nino, with whatever consequence, whatever extreme measures of El Nino was to come, is not coming.
It didn't come.
Extreme measures,
Right.
Because something has changed. And now, after all the preparations that we had for El Nino, it's not coming. People are going all over the place. Oh, you know, the government promised El Nino. The government can't even deliver a promise of a simple thing like.
Even rain, you cannot. I mean, look, and I think that's the thing here. That is it, surely, that's the thing. That could you have gotten it so wrong? Because the initial report that came from the Met Department was quite detailed in terms of what was going to happen. We were told the counties, we were told the areas, we looked at the lowlands, and we were told that, look, these are red zones and that you should be prepared to move to higher land if you're living on the lowlands. We were told that county governments had to get in line in order to get things ready. We were told, we were not told about westerly, easterly, southerly rains or central rains. I mean, winds. We were told specific
and hot nights in Nairobi.
Sorry about those warm summer nights, CT. But we were told categorically that there would be excessive rainfall. We were even told about inches and how much you would expect. We were told about flash floods and things like that. We were told all those things. But my question is it possible to have gotten it so wrong? Or that somewhere in the middle of it, did the weather just decide, actually, you know what? I'm not visiting that East African coast, not right now. Maybe I'm going to go somewhere else.
Let's focus.
You know, let's focus our attention somewhere else.
I've been called for a meeting elsewhere.
We've been called for a meeting. Did that happen?
It's possible.
Or can that happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
It can.
All right.
It definitely can, because if you consider just for a wee bit, consider this thing called climate change.
Yeah.
Maybe the weather decided to favor us, as we're not disturbing climate change like other countries. So we decided to go to places where it's
those ones who have
been giving it problems. I said, these guys, no. They're already impoverished, they're suffering too many problems. they don't need more. The thing is, it's not over yet.
You still think the rains are going to come?
Oh, yes.
Now you're competing with Met City.
I'm not competing with Met.
Met has said it's
done. We're
done.
finished.
What
will happen is the normal short rains that would come.
Bro, there are times Met has told us it's not going to rain, and it's raining like it's raining cats and dogs. So this Met thing, they do what they can.
With what they have.
With what they have.
What are you using?
The interpretation.
The innards of a goat? I mean, what?
No, I'm reading tea leaves.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to rain today. That's
coming.
what you're doing.
You know something? The moment someone tells you something is irregular, some uncertain, then I'm going with that word because everything the Met is saying conforms to this. They thought this was going to happen. It has not happened. It conforms. Whatever you thought was about to happen didn't happen.
This is El Nino itself.
Yes, they've got it. But it doesn't mean, yes, it's over. I'm not saying we're not seeing the absence of those torrential rains. I'm just saying we're not out of the woods yet. That's all I'm saying.
It could still rain.
It could still rain.
No,
And
no.
flood.
This is the thing. They
And
didn't say,
flood.
They said it will rain, but
It
what
will
will
rain.
happen is your normal short rains that happen between October and December.
You know me, I don't even get these short, long rain things. There was a time I used to understand it. I don't understand it at all.
The rains will still come.
Nairobi may not have experienced that sort of rain. Mombasa, there are days it rained the whole day. As in the whole day. So,
So now that's what they're saying.
actually,
It'll be the whole day.
I am
in
waiting.
Mombasa.
Western part of Kenya experience a lot of rains as well.
Yes.
I'm simply saying this. The extremity is one of the forms. It doesn't have to be extreme.
Okay, now county governments were released, or money was released to county governments to battle this extreme weather.
And they said they were prepared, isn't it?
Yes, they were prepared.
We'll audit and see what the preparedness means.
In terms of what they actually did with said money, anticipating the rains.
If they did, it's a good thing. You know why? These drainages were clogged anyway. If they unclogged them, it means when it now rains, we're not going to have the... Because when it rains, for instance, in this city, the roads are a mess.
Yes, yeah.
Okay? Instantly. So, it has served a good purpose. But whether they have done what they said they were going to do is a completely different matter. The tasting of this particular pudding would have been in the eating.
So now what happens to the money?
See, they said they've already
See, I
done
thought
the
they
thing.
spent it.
They've spent the money on preparing for El
I know
Nino.
there was some more that were going to...
No, you're right. There was more for in the event.
Yeah.
So there was some more for things that would actually happen
yes.
when these heavy rains
Yes,
come, and you need to actually move people, and you need to actually have food rations, because we did hear some.
Yeah.
There will be food rations that will be given to people
Throughout the-
because
You were preparing primary schools.
yeah, primary
Yeah.
schools, when schools closed this week, they were going to prepare them
Yeah.
so that people could move. So
Why
now
don't
that
you-
these things will not happen, when they return the money,
Anne Waiguru, the chair of Council of Governors, spoke about this. She's a good person of interest. in this
will they
particular
return the money
conversation.
Return it where?
to whence it came?
Yeah, it has to go back.
Sure.
where
Let
else?
me ask you, when we had COVID and some 5 billion shillings was distributed, did they return the money?
You see, COVID did not go
People
away.
COVID didn't go away. It still stayed
beds
for-
from secondary schools and from clinics simply to give the impression that they had met the threshold. When an audit was done by the government itself, how many counties did they find had met the quotient? 3. No, it went to 6.
Eventually, it went to 7
6
out of 47.
out of 40. So 40.
Yeah.
And yet the money was given, was it not?
Yeah.
So
Maybe
why?
this one they will return the money because everybody can see that it did not rain. It's not a matter of did we know how many people. Okay, we were told how many people COVID infected, right? We were told that they should have bought oxygen, they should have bought beds, but now everybody in Kenya has seen that the rain did not come and it was not extreme. The president even told you.
Now, if they return the money, are we going to fire the 3,400 people who have hired
Who
by
has been
Sakaja
hired to work by
to strip?
I think they
And
should remain
block the
because
drainage.
the work that they were doing
They,
Are they-
they had not even... The work that they had just started doing...
was
they-
waiting for rain so
if
that they can
have
do
to
it properly.
insist that they have started doing, the work that they have started doing is they still have a lot to do,
But there's
and
need.
it's still important to...
It should be done anyway, with or without.
Why
El
don't
Nino,
you
if you
just
ask
shift
me.
whatever it is they're supposed to do and let them sort out garbage?
Absolutely.
3,400
In fact,
people.
That's a very good
Garbage.
idea. How about they sort out? In fact, those 3,000 people can actually just be here in Mukuru. Mukuru for
3,400 people.
It's a good number. Garbage. Are we saying that we don't have work that these people can do? There's a lot of work they can do. Why don't they just do that?
3,400 people.
Yes. By the time they're around 1,000 and somebody else is 3,000,
these are
by the time
very
you get to
many
100, you've counted many. 200,
These are
many.
very many people that
Okay,
we're talking
what were they supposed
about.
to be doing? Those 3,400 people, what were they supposed to be doing in the event that the rain has come, that then you cannot apply
So their
them
job,
to other places?
as
where-
I understood, it was short term. Okay, it was a rapid results initiative.
How short?
So you need rains are coming, and we can see, all right, so we have a lot of garbage and it's strewn all over. We have our drainages are clogged. So let's get these people.
Clean
200 per constituency. We have 17 constituencies in the country. 200 people in every constituency just doing that work every day, every night. Just clear the garbage, clear the garbage, clear the garbage, clear the garbage. Of course, that has to come to an end, and then we go back to revert to factory settings. What the county government should be doing. After the county government has now installed new dustbins and new garbage collection points and new trucks are there and those new tippers and everything, these 3,400 people can now go back to what they were doing before. Which is what? Who knows? They were jobless. But 200 people per constituency, kazi yao ni takataka. We must have a clear plan. And we should be seeing. I honestly do not see the work of 200 people in the constituencies that I've been
to clean up.
I have not seen. I have not felt the impact of 200 people newly employed in a constituency to add to the other people who are working in that constituency.
No, they said that when the rain
In a
comes
sub-county.
now is now when you would have been able to see. But now that the rain, so what happens to them? This is the thing. So now that obviously we've been
There'll
told,
be no more money.
Yeah.
This was just a one-off budget that was removed from something, put into this because it's an emergency. An emergency doesn't last forever.
No, it doesn't. By virtue of definition, it means that it's a one-time thing. But this is the question, though, and I think that the question that you're asking feeds into this other question: that what happens, with the funds that have been released, that were used, and then also the ones that are yet to be taken up. What happens to that in terms of due diligence and making sure that actually things are kept according to record and making sure that the books are clean and tight? What happens to that? Are we going to hear the way we then heard from Council of Governors? We'll hear from Anne Waiguru's position, for example, that yes, 14 billion shillings that was given or was not given for XYZ has now been returned to the Exchequer. Will we hear that? We will hear that. And I think that's necessary to do because essentially the panic, the panic was that, what's going to happen? People will be displaced, etc., etc. Now that panic has been removed.
Yeah.
That is not going to happen because now we've been told, unless, really it's going to be a shockaroo situation where we're going to wake up tomorrow morning and it's actually raining and maybe then now we'll actually believe what CT's saying. But if that doesn't happen, will we then hear statements tomorrow saying, you know what, we have returned this money to Treasury because we do not need it? Or actually, now that we have this money, there were some pending projects within the counties that needed attention.
That still have to do with sanitation.
Yes, and so let's apply this money to those things. But should those conversations then not be made public? As public as this one was made and you were told, rain is not raining again. Okay, now, should that not follow swiftly? When we'll be told, okay, let's do something else with it.
The other thing about El Nino that is probably not mentioned often is that these processes and the effects are they're never identical. One season you can have what we know as the heavy rains, and the other season it may just be winds and nothing more. Yes, and also you will find that what happens in one particular region of the world may not necessarily be what's happening in another region, and yet it's all El Nino.
Our Met told us the variety that was coming to us was the heavy rain.
May I believe the Met? The moment you have strong winds moving, changing patterns from east to west and then west to east, winds bring cloud brings rain. When they read it was coming this way. Then wind changed, it went that way. So we now need to look who took our weather. Where did it rain heavily?
Still came.
It still came.
El Nino is still coming. The only problem is that taxes.
That's
Yeah.
What?
Taxes. Open your calculator. Let me show you how.
That is where the rain is.
That's where the rain is.
And lots of it.
Okay? Yeah. Yeah. So El Nino, the full-blown El Nino, is coming. And it's coming.
And it's a surety.
Then it comes and meets KRA. It's told 30% corporate tax. Toa 30%. Okay?
We're back at 60.
Back is 60.
70.
Then it's told VAT. 16% toa hiyo. Then it's told excise duty of 15% toa hiyo. Then it's told, when you're coming, we are going to have to repair roads. So road repair levy, 5%. Then we're also going to have, a bridge maintenance levy, for another 5%. And then it's told, we need people to harvest all this water. So in order to support our population to harvest the heavy rainfall, we need to get a water harvesting levy, another 5% or so. And then because you're coming in with a lot of cloud cover, we have to do a cloud cover duty. All those things. When the El Nino was coming at 100%,
It's
you're
now
left with
coming
what?
at 19%.
Bas, there.
That's where it's come.
So that's why now it's reduced to 19%, becomes no more heavy rainfall
From October to December.
from October to December.
But these taxes and the burden that they present worthy of a discussion, because really, however you look at how it doesn't matter how you look at it. Coming hot on the heels of COVID and everything that went with COVID, much as it's supposed to help do all sorts of wonderful things, but before it gets the wonderful things, the terrible things, it's actually coming with things that I sometimes wonder whether we'll be able to shoulder as a people in this country. Because the promises sound good, but the effect of these taxes and what it'll mean in reality, that's a completely different matter altogether.
It's a different story altogether.
No, it is a completely different story.
It's a different story. Well, we must though say that the fact that this time there was open and public conversation about something that those that are in charge of giving us early warning actually delivered the early warning, and it was heeded.
They did.
And the government said, all right, so we've heard from our experts at Met, and this is what we need to do. We need to create awareness. So there was a lot of awareness across the country that we were expecting El Nino style rainfall. Awareness, tick. There was a lot of conversation that happened at government quarters on what do we need to do to prepare. We need to think about the budget. We need to talk about this and the other. County governors, can you go and start working around on the ground? Tick. Kenya Red Cross, it shouldn't be them on the forefront. It should be government on the forefront. But Kenya Red Cross did a good job of going into all those areas. We saw them in Budalangi and teaching people. We saw them across,
Yes, we did.
showing people this is what we do. Let's unclog these areas. Let's do this and the other. Very good thing. So let's look at the positive as well. The positive is at least we didn't just sit back and
Shock on us.
Guy,
No,
El
absolutely.
Nino has come. There was at least some semblance of attempts at preparation. Now the thing is, we now need to audit what actual activities in terms of preparation did we see going towards this El Nino, impending El Nino. Was it sufficient? Was it not? Now that we don't have the El Nino, can we actually just spend time and look, all right, so you as national level, what did you do? You at counties, what
Yeah.
did you do? Was that sufficient? Was that going to actually support the people, or was it not going to support the people? Was it what we had said on paper? Is that what you were doing on the ground? Or were you also playing some picky ponky kind of game? It's about time that we do that. Same thing we had said during COVID. We said at the end of COVID, we needed to have a national audit of what has been done in COVID. It did not happen. Even the KEMSA story just became hot air. Everything was just, Uhuru said, I want a report in 2 months' time. He's still waiting for his 2 months.
Yeah.
It's 8 a.m.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.